Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. Today we will start our third chapter of microeconomics, production and cost. Today's topic is long run cost. In the long run, all inputs are variable. There are no fixed costs. The total cost and the total variable cost therefore coincide in the long run. लॉन्ग रन में कोई भी हमारी फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट नहीं होती है. लॉन्ग रन एवरेज कॉस्ट इज डिफाइंड एज कॉस्ट पर यूनिट ऑफ आउटपुट. LRAC is equal to TC by Q. Long run marginal cost is the change in total cost per unit of change in output. When output changes in discrete units, then if we increase production from Q1 minus 1 to Q1 unit of the output, the marginal cost of producing Q1th unit will be measured as LRMC is equal to TC at Q1 unit minus TC at Q1 minus 1 unit. Just like the short run. In the long run, the sum of all marginal cost up to some output level gives up the total cost at that level. Shape of the long run cost curve. हमारा long run में shape कैसी होती है curve की? We will see. We have previously discussed the return to scale. इससे पहले हम return to scale discuss कर चुके हैं. Now let us see their implication for the shape of LRC. अब हम देखेंगे लॉन्ग रन में हमारी क्या शेप होगी. IRS implies that if we increase all the inputs by a certain proportions, output increase by more than that proportionate. IRS एक नॉर्मल प्रोपोर्शन में इंक्रीज होती है, बट जो हमारा प्रोडक्शन होता है, जो हमारी आउटपुट होती है, वो उससे ज़्यादा क्वांटिटी में ज़्यादा प्रोपोर्शन में इंक्रीज होता है. इन अदर वर्ड्स, to increase output by a certain proportion, inputs need to be increased by less than that proportions. With the input price given, cost also increase by a lesser proportions. इसमें कहा गया है जैसे जैसे हमारा इनपुट की प्राइस बढ़ती है वैसे वैसे उसकी कॉस्ट भी इंक्रीज होती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सपोज वी वांट टू डबल द आउटपुट. हम जो हमारा आउटपुट है उसको डबल करना चाहते हैं. टू डू दैट इनपुट्स नीड टू बी इंक्रीज. तो हमें जो इनपुट्स हैं उनको भी इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा, बट लेस देन डबल, पर डबल से कुछ कम. द कोस्ट दैट द फर्म इनकर्स टू हायर दोज इनपुट्स देयरफॉर आल्सो नीड टू बी इंक्रीज बाय लेस देन डबल. तो जो उसकी कॉस्ट होगी उसको भी डबल से थोड़ा सा कम इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा. व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू द एवरेज कॉस्ट हेयर? यहाँ पर एवरेज कॉस्ट का क्या होगा? इट मस्ट बी द केस दैट as long as IRS operates, average cost falls as the firm increases outputs. जैसे जैसे फर्म आउटपुट को इंक्रीज करेगी वैसे वैसे उनकी एवरेज कॉस्ट फॉल हो जाएगी, गिर जाएगी. DRS implies that if we want to increase the output by a certain proportions, अगर हम अपना जो आउटपुट है वो कुछ प्रोपोर्शन तक बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, इनपुट्स नीड टू बी इंक्रीज बाय मोर देन दैट प्रोपोर्शंस. तो हमें इनपुट को भी इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा उसी के अकॉर्डिंग, उससे ज़्यादा प्रोपोर्शंस में. एज अ रिजल्ट कॉस्ट ऑल्सो इंक्रीज बाय मोर देन दैट प्रोपोर्शंस. तो रिजल्ट क्या होगा? इन प्रोपोर्शन से ज़्यादा उसकी कॉस्ट को इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा. सो एज लॉन्ग एज DRS ऑपरेट्स, द एवरेज कॉस्ट मस्ट बी राइजिंग एज द फर्म इंक्रीजेज आउटपुट. CRS implies a proportional increase in inputs resulting in proportional increase in output. So the average cost remains constant as long as CRS operates. तो इसमें क्या कहा है, जो एवरेज कॉस्ट है वो क्या रहेगी? कांस्टेंट रहेगी long as CRS operates. It is argued that in a typical firm, IRS is observed at the initial level of production. IRS को किस पे देखते हैं? इनिशियल लेवल ऑफ प्रोडक्शन पे देखते हैं. This is then followed by the CRS and then by the DRS. Accordingly, the LRAC curve is U-shaped curve. LRAC curve is a U-shaped curve. Its downward sloping part corresponds to IRS and upward rising part corresponds to DRS. At the minimum point of the LRAC curve, CRS is observed. Let us check how the LRMC. You can see how the LRMC curve look like. For the first unit of output, both LRMC and LRAC the same. You can see, देखने पे same लग रहे हैं. Then as output increases, जैसे जैसे output increase होता है, LRAC initially falls. LRAC गिर जाती है and then after a certain point, कुछ point के बाद it rises, ये बढ़ना शुरू कर देती है. As long as average cost is falling, average cost गिर जाती है. Marginal cost must be less than the average cost. Marginal cost ज़्यादा होनी चाहिए average cost से. When the average cost is rising, अगर average cost बढ़ रही है, marginal cost must be greater than the average cost. LRMC curve is therefore a U-shaped curve. It cuts the LRAC curve from below at the minimum point of the LRAC. We can see in figure 3.9. Figure 3.9 shows the shape of the long run marginal cost and long run average cost. We can see LRAC and LRMC curve form a typical form. LRAC reaches its minimum at Q1. Its minimum at Q1. To the left of Q1, LRAC is falling. LRAC is falling and LRMC is less than the LRAC curve. To the right of Q1, LRAC is rising and LRMC is higher than LRAC. Here we complete our chapter number 3, production and cost. There is some summary. We can read it. First point is, for different combinations of input, the production function shows the maximum quantity of output that can be produced. जो हमारे इनपुट के कॉम्बिनेशंस होते हैं उनसे क्या होता है, मैक्सिमम क्वांटिटी में अपने आउटपुट को प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं. इन द शॉर्ट रन, शॉर्ट पीरियड में सम इनपुट्स कैन बी वेरिड. इन द लॉन्ग रन और इनपुट्स कैन बी वेरिड. शॉर्ट रन में कुछ इनपुट्स वेरिड होते हैं और लॉन्ग रन में सभी के सभी इनपुट्स वेरिड होते हैं. नेक्स्ट, टोटल प्रोडक्ट इज द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन अ वेरिएबल इनपुट एंड आउटपुट व्हेन ऑल अदर इनपुट्स आर हेल्ड कांस्टेंट. जब दूसरे इनपुट्स कांस्टेंट रहते हैं टोटल प्रोडक्ट में, तो कहाँ पर रिलेशनशिप बनती है, वेरिएबल इनपुट और आउटपुट में. नेक्स्ट इज, फॉर एनी लेवल ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑफ एन इनपुट, the sum of marginal products of every unit of that input up to that level gives the total production of that input at that employment level. Next is, both the marginal product and the average product curve are inverse U shape. जो हमारा marginal product है और average product है वो inverse में होते हैं, किस shape में होते हैं, U shape में. The marginal product cuts the average product curve. Marginal product curve जो होता है वो average product curve को cut कर रहा होता है from above at the maximum point of average product curve. Next is, in order to product output, the firm choose least cost input combinations. जब हमारी फर्म जो होती है कुछ प्रोडक्ट बनाती है तो वो क्या चूज करती है कि कम से कम उनकी कॉस्ट आए इनपुट कॉम्बिनेशन की. जो वो इनपुट अपनी फैक्ट्री में या फिर जिस भी चीज़ में लगा रहे हैं उसकी कॉस्ट कम से कम हो और उसको आउटपुट उससे प्रॉफिट हो और उसकी कंपनी को प्रॉफिट हो. नेक्स्ट इज, टोटल कॉस्ट इज द सम ऑफ टोटल वेरिएबल कॉस्ट एंड टोटल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. टोटल कॉस्ट किसका सम होती है, टोटल वेरिएबल कॉस्ट का और टोटल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट का. नेक्स्ट इज, एवरेज कॉस्ट इज द सम ऑफ एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट एंड एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. नेक्स्ट, एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट कर्व इज डाउनवर्ड स्लॉपिंग. जो एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट का कर्व होता है वो कैसा होता है, डाउनवर्ड स्लॉपिंग होता है. नेक्स्ट, शॉर्ट रन मार्जिनल कॉस्ट, एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट एंड शॉर्ट रन एवरेज कॉस्ट कर्व आर यू शेप्ड. ये तीनों के तीनों कर्व कौन से होते हैं, यू शेप के होते हैं. फर्स्ट वन, शॉर्ट रन मार्जिनल कॉस्ट, एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट एंड शॉर्ट रन एवरेज कॉस्ट कर्व. SMC curve cuts the AVC curve from below at the minimum point of AVC. SMC curve cuts the SAC curve from below at the minimum point of SAC. In the short run, for any level of output, sum of marginal cost up to that level gives us the total variable cost. The area under the SMC curve up to any level of output gives us the total variable cost up to that level. Both LRAC and LRMC curve are U-shaped. We can see before 2 or 3 minutes. LRMC curve cut the LRAC curve from below at the minimum point of LRAC. You can see LRAC and LRMC. Key concept are here: production function, long run, marginal cost, law of diminishing marginal cost, cost function, short run, total product, average product, law of variable proportions, return to scale, marginal cost and average cost. These concepts contain full chapter. We read that and also understand that. First question is explain the concept of a production function. कि हमारा production function क्या है? Go on starting with production function. The production function of a firm is relationship between input used and output produced by the firm. Production function क्या है? Relationship किसके बीच में है? Input used and output produced by the firm. For various quantities of input used, it gives the maximum quantity of output that can be produced. Consider the farmer we mentioned above. For simplicity, we assume that the farmer uses only 2 inputs to produce wheat, labor and land. A production function tells us the maximum amount of wheat he can produce for a given amount of land that he uses and a given number of hours of labor that he performs. Suppose that he uses 2 hours of labor per day and 1 hectare of land to produce a maximum of 2 tons of wheat. These examples are given there, I think, and there is a table of production function. I think you understand. Your next question is, what is the total product of an input? Total product क्या होगा input का? What is क्या है total product of input? Answer is wait. There is your answer, total product. Suppose we vary a single input and keep all other inputs constant. Then for different level of that input, we get different level of output. This relationship between the variable input and output, keeping all other inputs constant, it often related to as total product of the variable input. And there is a average product also and marginal product. I think these are your next questions. Wait for some time. Yes, your third question is, what is the average product of an input? And fourth question is, what is the marginal product of an input? We can see here, there is your average product and marginal product. Average product is defined as the output per unit of variable input. We'll calculate it as, there is a formula, APL is equal to TPL by L. The last column of table 3.2 given us a numerical example of average product of labor with capital fixed at 4 for the production function described in table 3.1. And your marginal product is also there. Marginal product of an input is defined as the change in output per unit of change in the input when all other inputs are held constant. When capital is held constant, the marginal product of labor is MPL is equal to change in output by change in input is equal to triangle TPL by triangle L. There is your marginal product, average product and total product. Second, third and fourth question answer. Fifth question is, explain the relationship between the marginal product and the total product of an input. Input में marginal product और total product में क्या relationship है वो बताना है. There is shape of marginal product and total product. We can see, and fifth answer we can find out from there. Next question is, explain the concept of short run and long run. Run means short period and long run means long period. Seventh question is, what is the law of diminishing marginal product? Diminishing marginal product का law क्या है? Law of diminishing marginal product and law of variable proportion. There we will find out the answer of the law of diminishing marginal product. We can see, if we plot the data in table 3.2 on graph paper, placing labor of on the x-axis and output on y-axis, we get the curve shown in the diagram below. Let us examine what is happening to TP. Notice that TP increases as labor input increases, but the rate at which it increases is not constant. An increase in labor from 1 to 2 increase TP by 10 units. An increase in labor from 2 to 3 increases by TP by 12. The rate at which TP increases, as explained above, is shown by the MP. Notice that the MP first increases and then begins to fall. This tendency of the MP to first increase and then fall is called the law of variable cost or the law of diminishing marginal product. Law of variable proportions say that the marginal product of a factor input initially rises with its employment level, but after reaching a certain level of employment, it starts falling. Okay. Next question is, what is the law of variable proportions? We can read it also. Next one, when does a production function satisfy constant return to scale? Next is, when does a production function satisfy increasing result returns to scale? Wait, constant result return to scale or increasing return to scale? There is both answers, increasing return to scale and constant return to scale. The law of variable proportions arises because factor proportions change as long as one factor is held constant and other is increased. What if both factors can change? क्या होगा जब दोनों factors change हो जाएंगे? Remember that this can happen only in the long run. Always remember ये कब happen हो सकता है? कब हो सकता है ये long run में? One special case in long run occurs when both factors are increased by the same proportions or factors are scaled up. जब वो same proportion में increase होते हैं. When a proportional increase in all input results in an increase in output by the same proportion, the production function is said to display constant return to scale. Done? Next one is, when a proportional increase in all inputs results in an increase in output by a larger proportion, the production function is said to display increasing return to scale. Done? Next one is decreasing return to scale. Hold when a proportional increase in all inputs results in an increase in outputs by a smaller proportion. Example के थ्रू आपको क्लियर किया गया जो हम पहले कर चुके हैं. Next one is also solved. When does a production function satisfy decreasing return to scale? Next question is, briefly explain the concept of cost function. Yes, there's your cost. In order to produce output, the firm needs to employ inputs, but a given level of output typically can be produced in many ways. There can be more than one input combination with which a firm can produce a desired level of output. In table 3.1, we can see that 50 units of outputs can be produced by 3 different input combinations. L is equal to C, K is equal to 3, L is equal to 4, K is equal to 4, and L is equal to 3, K is equal to 6. The question in which input combination will the firm choose? कौन सा input combination firm choose करेगी? और ये आपका है, with the input prices given, it will choose that combination of input which is least expensive, जो कम से कम expensive हो. That is our cost. So for every level of output, the firm choose the least cost input a combination. Thus the cost function describe the least cost of producing each level of output given price of factors of production and technology. Next is, what are the total fixed cost, total variable cost and total cost of firm? How are they related? ये तीनों चीज क्या है और ये एक दूसरे से कैसे रिलेट करती हैं आपस में? Yes, here we have answer. The cost that a firm incurs to employ these fixed inputs is called the total fixed cost. In short run, some of factors of production cannot be varied and therefore remain fixed. वो fixed रहते हैं. The cost that a firm incurs to employ these fixed inputs is called the total fixed cost. Whatever amount of output the firm produces, this cost remains fixed for the firm. To produce any required level of output, the firm in the short run can adjust only variable inputs. Accordingly, the cost that a firm incurs to employ these variable inputs is called the total variable cost. Adding the fixed and the variable cost, we get the total cost of a firm. And here we find out our average variable cost and marginal cost. We can see average cost incurred by the firm is defined as the total cost per unit of output. We calculate it at like that. Here we all three answers are there and table also there. TVC, TC and all. Next is, what are the average fixed cost, average variable cost and average cost? These are below the total fixed cost, total variable cost and total cost. Next question is, can there be some fixed cost in the long run? If not, why? क्या हमारे पास लॉन्ग रन में फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट हो सकती है? अगर नहीं तो क्यों? इसमें सभी अपने व्यूज दीजिए, ये वीडियो देखिए और अपने व्यूज शेयर कीजिए. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, व्हाट डज द एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट कर्व लुक लाइक? व्हाट डज इट लुक सो? नेक्स्ट वन इज, what do the short run marginal cost, average variable cost and short run average cost curve look like? कि कैसा दिखता है आपको short run में? There is a AVC, average variable cost curve. We can see how it look like and explanation is there. We can see, you can read it and solve this question. Next one is, what does the SMC curve cut the AVC curve at the minimum point of the AVC curve? We can do. Next is, at which point does the SMC curve cut the SAC curve? Give reason in support of your answer. ये भी हम कर चुके हैं. What is the short run marginal cost curve U shape? We can also do that. Next one is, what do the long run marginal cost and the average cost look like? Next is, the following table, the total product schedule of labor. Find the corresponding average product and marginal product schedule of labor. L दिया हुआ है आपको, लेबर दी हुई है और टोटल प्रोडक्ट दिया हुआ है. इसमें आपको क्या फाइंड आउट करना है? एवरेज प्रोडक्ट और मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट फाइंड आउट करना है लेबर का. यू कैन डू दैट. नेक्स्ट वन इज, द फॉलोइंग टेबल गिव्स द एवरेज प्रोडक्ट शेड्यूल दिया हुआ है आपको ऑफ लेबर and find the total product and marginal product schedule. It is given at that the total product is 0 at 0 level of labor employment. Next is, the following table gives the marginal product schedule of labor. It is also given the total product of labor is 0 at 0 level of employment. Calculate the total and average product schedule of labor. Next is, the following table shows the total cost schedule of a firm. What is the total fixed cost schedule of the firm? Calculate the TVC, AFC, AVC, SAC, SMC schedule of the firm. Next questions are there. The following tables given the total cost schedule दिया हुआ है आपको और उसमें क्या कहा हुआ है? Average cost fixed cost is 4, unit of output is ₹5. Find the TVC, TFC, AVC, AFC, SCC, SMC. मैंने आपको सभी के formulas ऊपर बताए हैं. You can put the formula and find out the answer. Next one is, a firm's SMC schedule is shown in the following table. The total fixed cost of the firm is ₹100. Find the TVC, TC, AVC and SSC schedule of the firm. It's very easy. Next is, let the production function of a firm be this. Find the maximum possible output that the firm can produce with 100 unit of L and 100 unit of K. And next question we can find out. Thank you so much. This chapter is finished here. Thank you for listening me, and please share this video and learn with this video and subscribe our channel, our Nagin channel. Thank you so much. Bye bye.